Hey guys, this is Clay at Commonwealth 4x4 here in Winchester, Kentucky. I want to take a few minutes today to kind of go over the ordering process for an Alu-Cabin from Alu-Cab. Also what accessories are available when you look at the order form, and kind of give you an explanation of some of the terminology and things that can be somewhat confusing for those that haven't really spent a lot of time within the Alu-Cab ecosystem. But most, if not all, of the accessories that we're going to talk about can be added really at any point in the future as well. So don't feel like you've got to make decisions right up front. That's kind of the process that we're here to help with our customers, as far as going through and talking about what their goals are, how they're going to use the vehicle, what makes sense to purchase now and have installed, and what you may want to leave as an option for later should you find that you need it. So Alu-Cabin full size, that's going to be like we have here. Our friend Rob at Revere Overland, this is his 2022 Tundra, 5.5 foot bed. So you're going to have the Alu-Cabin for Tundras, for F-150s, for Chevy Silverados, for Rams, any of those full-size platforms. And they will offer both a 5.5 foot option, which is what we have on this because his bed, of course, is 5.5 feet. And they'll also offer a 6.5 foot option. So if you opt for the longer bed on the half-ton platforms, or all the 3/4 ton trucks are going to have a minimum of a 6.5 foot bed. There is no 8 foot option currently. I don't think there's one planned. That's just such a small part of the market. Right. So a really great advantage with the Alu-Cab type setup, whether it's the canopy camper or the Alu-Cabin like that's behind me here, is going to be how quick and easily it is to either deploy your setup or actually take everything down. So we'll kind of go through that process right now. As far as opening the canopy itself, it's going to be a matter of just getting on the rear of the vehicle. You've got two little latches here that we're going to let go of. So we'll undo these and then give her a little push. It is strut assisted, so once you get past a little bit of a point, it's going to take care of the rest for you. And that's honestly as easy as setting the tent up is right there. So as of right now, we can go ahead and get inside the canopy. You have full access to the tent area. There are some poles for pushing out the covers on the front. So once we've got the tent up there, you have full access, of course, to your entire indoor living, eating space, sleeping space. As far as being able to stand up, it's a great thing too, because you have a 2-piece type bed that just pushes right up, and then we can stand up and we have full access to the inside of the Alu-Cabin. So if you want to pull over and make a lunch stop as you're traveling, stop at a rest area and have access to it, you're not having to unpack a bunch of stuff. It's as simple as opening the rear door. If you want to, go ahead and open the tent up very quickly, pop this up, and then you've got the full space here to be inside the unit, sit down, stand up, get all of your stuff ready. It does come basically as just an empty shell, so to speak, okay? And the benefit to that is that you can build these things as mild or as wild as you want to. You can do it in stages, you can do it all at once. It's really up to you. The unit itself is going to come pre-wired and include a few different things, such as some lights, some USB ports, which we'll kind of go over now. One of the main lights that they use in multiple locations in here is going to be this 3-position light from National Luna. And it's a touch-sensitive setting. So we've got 1, 2, 3 different brightness levels. We also, if you hold down the setting, it's going to go from our clear light to red. So it has 2 colors built in. You're going to have one of these lights over each one of the doors in the Alu-Cabin, so 4 exterior. They're great when you have these open at night to give you light outside of the Alu-Cabin. We also have one on the back door, so if you're using that for cooking or anything at the back, you've got light outside. And in addition to those, we're going to have another light underneath the sleeping platform. And there's also one, if we were to pull the sleeping platform down, there would be another light just like this on the roof up there, so that if you are sleeping at night, you've got some light in your sleeping area when it's closed off. They need to be wired, of course, into 12-volt power. On a basic installation, we'll run a fuse panel back on these units, Blue Sea's fuse panel, and we'll wire all the lights to the starting battery. They don't draw much voltage. A lot of our customers opt to go with a more advanced electrical system that can control them. But at the very least, when we install one of these units, all your lights will be hooked up to power. So in addition to the National Luna lights that we talked about, those 7 lights there, In the sleeping area, when this platform's down, you have access in these little zippered areas to these stalk lights, which are also built in. So we have the stalk lights, one on each side, little reading lights there. And near those, we also have built-in USB ports as well as 12-volt plug-ins. So you've got those not on just one side of the camper, but actually on both sides, so that if it is two people sharing the space, you don't have to fight over whose phone's going to get charged. The other included option is a mattress, of course, from Alu-Cab. So it's going to be a two-piece mattress. There's a small piece that will go on top of this little part of the platform. This isn't really, unless you're super tall or long-legged, you may use some of this to sleep on. The majority of folks are going to find that their sleeping platform here is going to be plenty. And I'll give you a little peek. This has got a little topper on it, but this is the mattress that's included from Alu-Cab. So it's not a self-inflating mattress, but again, it's a pretty dang comfortable mattress for a factory offering. And then there's also built-in canvas storage options from Alu-Cab that are included. Those are on the quilted top there. Gives you the ability to keep things you need in reach in the bed area. The last thing worth mentioning is going to be that all of the Alu-Cabins and canopy campers come pre-wired for solar. So they have an Anderson 50 amp connection that's already built into the rear of the unit. That wire is already run for you. It comes down and is located right in the back corner here. So it's easy to tie into that and hook up to your solar connectors. So when we work with our customers, what you will have access to, and this is available from Alu-Cab as well, and we'll put a link up to this too. This is a document that is essentially an order form from Alu-Cab that allows us to do an a la carte type order system where you have the canopy itself, the fit kit, which we'll talk about, a destination charge, which is shipping, and then all these other items that we'll go through are going to be different options or add-ons that are either going to be offered from Alu-Cab or from some of the partner companies like GP Factor, Expedition Essentials, 813 Fabrication, Hest, and some others. So we'll talk about those on the list. Again, I talked about 5.5 and 6.5 foot options. That's going to be the first thing that you need to determine is going to be the size of Alu-Cabin that is required for your vehicle, and that's strictly based on bed size. Next, there's a dealer destination fee, and what that is a flat fee. It's charged on every unit, and it pays for freight from South Africa to the U.S. and then to your dealer. So whether you're in Kentucky like us or in Washington State, it's $14.99. It's the same charge across the board. After that, the only other thing that you have to purchase to make one of these work is going to be a fit kit, okay? And of course, the fit kit's going to be dependent on what vehicle you have. And just like the name implies, the fit kit is what adapts it to your specific vehicle. So in the case of Rob's Tundra, we have the 3rd generation Tundra fit kit. And these filler panels right here on the sides, the bottom panel, and then, you know, there's a part that rivets around the door, but that fit kit is what takes space of the place of the tailgate and then allows us to put the door in, which is one of the big, we think one of the nice features of the Alu-Cab is this nice rear door that allows you to enter and exit the vehicle much easier than putting a tailgate down or folding something up. It's also great for sealing out moisture, dust, things like that. So there's a lot of benefits we feel to this rear door design, but it does require a vehicle specific fit kit. So currently for the Alu-Cabin, the fit kits that are available are going to be for the 2nd and 3rd gen Toyota Tundras. That's from 07 to now, the 2015 to current F-150, the 07 to current GM and Chevy 1500 trucks, as well as the 2500 and 3500 trucks. And then we have the 09 to current Ram pickups. There are no other accessories that are technically required to install this unit. So if you wanted to start just with the base Alu-Cabin, no accessories, you certainly have that option. When we talk about options, the number one thing that we've added to every single one of our Alu-Cabins or canopy campers has been the Shadow 270 awning that's behind me. The Shadow 270 awning is a very robust design. It's one of the better made awnings that we've seen on the market from anyone. We'll go ahead and show you kind of how this is deployed. This is a freestanding 270 awning, so it does not require the use of legs or anything like that. And I'm gonna use this handy hair tick handle there we've got. And we'll pull this bag out of the way. We've got some Velcro retention straps that we're gonna loosen up. That allows our awning to kind of fall down there. And then we will start to just walk it to the back of the vehicle. So once you get to this point back here, there's going to be a little strap that we install that's going to allow us to bring tension to the awning. And that, of course, can be tightened if we want to pull it snug. The only other thing left to do is to get our support arm here, which is going to tension the top of that material and allow water and rain to come off of it there. The accessories or options that it's going to come with are going to include this built-in storage bag for the pegs. Okay, so this is handy for stakes, rather I should say. These stakes can be used if you need to pull out these tie-down straps, these support straps, and you'll see that there's one located on this corner, there's one on that corner, and then there's one on that corner back there. So in really windy weather or bad weather, being able to pull those out and stake that to the ground is going to give this more reinforcement. That's included with the awning, so it comes with that. It also has this support leg right here. So we have an option of pulling this down. And again, if it's really windy or bad weather, or we just want to offer more supports, you can deploy that leg, you can stake it down, and that's going to give it even more reinforcement in really windy weather. If it gets too bad, we do recommend with any 270 awnings, and past a certain point, this one's very, very sturdy. It's one of the toughest that we've seen, but even in really bad weather, we do recommend putting the awning up to not have any damage. If you get the 270 awning, you're going to have 3 accessories that are an option with the awning. They don't have to be purchased, but they are part of that little ecosystem. Number 1 is going to be our rear awning gutter, and I'll show you what that is right now. So the gutter is going to be used to take up this space right here. So you notice that we have a little bit of a gap between the unit itself and the rear of the awning. And if it is rain or anything, this gutter can be slid into place and actually allow for that rain and everything to go off and not come down and get into this area here. This is probably the most tedious thing that you can do with the Alu-Cabs, and it's not hard. So that's to say that the majority, if not everything in this setup is fairly user-friendly and easy. And once you've done this a few times, you'll get faster and more efficient. So there we've slid the awning through this retention piece that is riveted to the unit. So when we install the gutter, this piece is actually added. So that's part of the kit. And then what we're simply going to do is we're going to take our Velcro and we're going to attach it to this other Velcro that we've riveted onto the back of the awning. And this, of course, can be kind of moved and angled. Usually we'll angle it down a little bit, so that's why I have more Velcro showing, so that it kind of goes at an angle to let the water and everything run off. But that is going to be the gutter kit that's available with the awning as an option. You also have a storm kit that's going to be listed on this sheet of paper. What the storm kit is, it's going to come with clips that can be tightened down to the material here and then attached to stakes, so that in heavy rain, instead of these allowing sometimes water and things to pool, what it's going to do is it's going to tension the material, the fabric, and allow for that stuff to drain off. So you'll notice in these larger spots, it'll pull these down and create an ability for all that water to cascade off of it. And then the last option is going to be the wall kit. And so if we wanted to turn this into an outdoor living space that you can use in inclement weather, you can use in cold weather, or you just want shade from the sun too, they do make an awning wall kit that will allow us to close in the majority of this and make this space a little more usable in different climates. Backing the awning away is just going to be the reverse of what we did to put it out. We're going to take our gutter mount off there. We're going to slide it out of our little this rear channel here, we're gonna put our top support down to release tension on that top fabric. And then I'm gonna release some tension on this back here, which enables me to pull out that retention strap. And that's just gonna start to collapse on itself. And so the easiest thing to do is just to always make sure, keep these kind of flat. It's gonna fold up easier. So as we walk the awning around, it's just gonna start to fold right in. And this is where, if you have a tall vehicle like Rob's, it helps to have a step or slider that we can stand on. Pull our bag up. Make sure before you start to tighten everything down that your Velcro straps, and there's 2 of those here, we want to pull those over the top so that we have the ability to get to those here in a second as we tighten this up. So we will start to roll. All right, and the awning is ready to go. All right, so another popular accessory besides the Shadow 270 awning is gonna be the shower cube, and that's what we have here. So the shower cube is gonna have 2 mounting options that are available and that you'll see on the order form. The first one is the Alu-Cabin / Kaya mount, which is what we have here on Rob's Alu-Cabin. It mounts it forward in front of this door and up a little bit. The other option would be the Gen 3 mount, which is more of a flat mount. It enables us to move it back and put it on this flat portion. So if you wanted it to be over this door or somewhere in here, but not all the way up front, that's gonna be the other mounting option. And so I'll go ahead and open it now and kind of show you what the shower cube entails. There are no accessories associated with the shower cube. It's like the awning, we had those parts. Shower cube's gonna be by itself, is what it is, other than the mounting bracket that you'll need. And it does have to have a mounting bracket to be installed. So you'll notice the same type stuff that you saw on the awning. We've got our stakes here that are handy attached, that way you don't lose them. That's really nice to have there. And then these arms, I'm gonna shut this door. So as this is folded up, it's got some weighted pieces in the bottom. It's gonna fold out of there pretty easily. It has an arm that comes this way and clips into place, and then has this other arm that's gonna lock in right there. And then we've got our shower cube deployed. Again, you can stake it. This one's a little higher up because of the height of the vehicle. If you have a lower vehicle, of course, it's gonna come further down. All right. Another neat feature of the shower cube is that they've included this little ceiling now that can be brought up and Velcroed into place. And the nice thing there is that if you are out here, it's warmer or it's colder, and you've got hot water coming in, then you have the ability to kind of retain some of that heat and just a little more privacy there as well. So there's also a rear zipper on the shower cube. So if you wanted to feed through from inside, either the Alu-Cabin or somewhere else, your faucets, you know, your shower handle. In this case, we've got a jewel cut on the inside. Gives you a little way to zip this up privacy-wise. All right, so when we're putting the shower cube back up after using it, you know, you want to give this a chance to dry out if you can. Again, if you don't have time, when you get home from your trip, you want to make sure you deploy it, let it air out so we don't get mold, any type of mildew there. But before we get ready to put this up, because it locks into place, there's a couple little pulls on the inside that you can just push up, okay? So we're gonna push that one up. We'll push this other one up there. And that's what enables us to have these arms. They're gonna fold in. So we'll fold this side in first. We'll bring our other arm in. And again, because these are kind of weighted a little bit at the bottom, you'll be able to grab kind of where it's rigid there and just start to roll this up. So we can tuck all of our parts in there, kind of captures it. Reach around. And our shower cube's put back up. Next is going to be the Alu-Cab branding accessories that are going to be available on this sheet, starting with our push button lock covers. So this just sounds like something fairly simple. It is, and it's something that we add to almost all of them. The builds that we do is these push button lock covers. These are sold singles, so for an Alu-Cabin you're going to need 8 of them. Okay, you've got 2 windows, 2 locks in each window. We pull these locks out, we mount those, and then if it gets you know, to where it's snowing, it's icing over, to where they stay, you know, usable. So that's definitely something I would put high on my list. After the push button lock covers is going to be an option for a rear tire carrier. So we don't have one on Rob's Alu-Cabin here, strictly because it is going to be rated up to a 33-inch tire. So that's something to keep in mind. But the spare tire carrier, if you did mount it on this rear door, there's actually these little punch outs. There's going to be 4 of them in this kind of pattern right here. And that is the location from Alu-Cab that's going to be reinforced on the door, to where if you did a spare tire mount, it's going to bolt. You would punch these out or drill these out in these 4 locations, bolt that through, and then your spare tire mount would actually be on the rear door. So something to keep in mind, these hinges are strong, this is reinforced, but it is only rated up to a 33-inch tire from Alu-Cab as far as any warranty or issues with that. So just be mindful of the amount of weight that we're going to put on the back of this door, especially if you're looking to do other accessories on it as well. Next up is going to be our table slide, and this table slide is available for the Alu-Cab, and it's also the same as the one that would be used on the canopy camper if you had, again, the midsize. And this is one of the few, if not the only accessory that I would highly recommend that you get if you think you want it before this unit is mounted, because as you can see, getting access to this and this table slide has to be riveted, drilled and riveted from the bottom. It would be almost impossible to do it correctly or you know, safely with this unit mounted to the vehicle. So if you want an exterior table mount, now's the time to purchase it when you get your unit. That is one of the few things. And we'll kind of demonstrate here too, because the table is really a great table as well. This is going to be the table slide itself comes with this mechanism here that's going to secure the table. But the table is, once we do that, the table's just going to pull out. And it's a super lightweight aluminum camping table. And, you know, we've joked with folks, it's like, you know, that's, you know, a table's a table. But then when you use this one, strut assisted legs there, single aluminum piece top, super lightweight, just very, very well made, as you would expect from a company like Alu-Cab. So this is going to be their aluminum camp table that you'll see as an option. Doesn't have to be mounted necessarily underneath. Of course, that's the Alu-Cab slide that's an option. Jeremy at 813 has come out with an interior mount that works to mount this inside the vehicle or inside the canopy, if that's an option or something you're interested in. Putting it back up is going to be just as easy as when we got it down. We'll fold those in, kind of push into place. Make sure you put legs up. And then we're going to just slide that table in. Push it in all the way. And then we're going to put our lock back into place. And that is your camp table, aluminum camp table with slide. After the table slide and camp table on your order form, there's going to be an option for an Alu-Cab water tank. And so this is a 13-gallon water tank from Alu-Cab. It mounts in this cavity that's above the bed, kind of recessed in the front there. So this tank is made to fit that space. You have the tank on the order form, which comes, of course, with the brackets to mount it. Now, this is the same water tank that's used in the canopy camper. If you had a canopy camper, there's not a fit kit that's required for the water tank because, again, that's sized a little bit smaller. It bolts right into place. Because dimensionally, the Alu-Cabin is larger, it's going to be wider and taller, there is an extra line item that you're going to need to select or purchase if you want to put an Alu-Cab water tank in your Alu-Cabin. And that is the water tank fit kit. And they use a single load bar with additional brackets that space this down so that the water tank mounts in the exact location or space that it should. From Alu-Cab, they are going to offer a water tank canvas bag. We don't have one in Rob's build. He elected not to use it, but it would be a bag that would mount to the front of the water tank, give you some pockets and little storage options. What Rob has chosen to do in his build is he's incorporated some of the pack out panels and a MOLLE panel from 813 Fabrication. So these are available from another company. Some of the products are actually on the Alu-Cab order form from 813, but these right here, you could source directly from them, or we can provide them, you know, for our builds. All right, as we make our way down the list after the water tank, you're going to notice that there's an option for an Alu-Cab can crusher, and that's a pretty neat device that actually mounts to the exterior of the canopy and allows you to use aluminum cans and compact those. After that, we're going to have our mozzie nets, and this is something we get a lot of questions about. It's a terminology we're not familiar with here in the US is mozzie, but it is going to be our window nettings that are an option. These are really nice because we rivet in the Velcro around the frame, and then you can completely remove these if you wanted to, so that you can take it entirely off and just have the window open as it normally would, or you have the ability to leave them deployed at all times to where we have the netting that again can be opened up. So we have a pass-through if you want cool air. You can tuck these up. But then in addition to just having the netting, which is great at keeping the bugs and things out, if it's in cold weather and you want an extra layer of insulation, we have the canvas-like tent material that comes down and actually Velcros over that. And so a little bit more privacy as well too. These are very popular. If you had the 6.5 foot, you would actually have two different size windows. So on the order form, you're going to see the small window, which is again what Rob has, and then you're also going to see a large mozzie, and that simply means that if you had a 6.5 foot bed and you went with a 6.5 foot Alu-Cabin, your front windows on each side are going to be a foot longer, roughly. And so you would actually need two of the large mozzies and two of the smalls, as opposed to Rob having all four of the same size. In addition to the side mozzies, we also have one for our rear door. So same type thing, we've got it where the Velcro is mounted and riveted so it doesn't come off around the rear door frame. And then we'll reach up and you again can deploy just the netting to keep bugs and all that fun stuff out. Or a little more insulation. We've got our second layer there. Okay, next on the list is under the Alu-Cab accessories is going to be their rear MOLLE panels that they offer. So again, don't have them on this build. There's a few different options that exist. Some again from 813 as far as some rear panels go with a different pattern. But the ones from Alu-Cab would mount in this space right here, give you the option to mount exterior accessories, everything from propane tanks to shovels to really anything you want to attach on the exterior there that will work with that. But you would get a panel on this side, and then you get a matching one that would go in this space right here. Okay, so one for each side. So that's going to be what that is on the list. Moving below that, you're going to see an option for a rear door bags or storage. So we'll talk about these two pieces in just a second from GP Factor. But another option, if you didn't go with the parts here that Rob has chosen, is to do some canvas storage again from Alu-Cab. It's going to be made out of the same material that they use in their tent, and it would be very similar to what the canvas bag, storage bag would be for the front of the water tank. So the last accessory that's going to be mentioned from Alu-Cab on that order form is going to be the jerry can holder, and that's a single jerry can holder that would mount to the exterior MOLLE panel if you had it back here. So if you did want to carry extra fuel in a jerry can and wanted it to be in this space using the Alu-Cab holder, you would need a base plate or the MOLLE panels to attach it to. So keep that in mind. They kind of require each other. The next thing you're going to see is going to be the load bars from Alu-Cab. And we've got a set on Rob's here. You're going to want the 1450 millimeter load bars. That's the wider ones. They do offer a 1250 for some of the smaller applications. They come sold as a pair. And on this installation, we've used the low profile or the short mounting feet. So you'll notice how they're basically just sitting right on top of the Alu-Cabin. So that's going to cut down on any height protrusion, but it still gives us the ability to load things on the top of them. It also gives us the ability to mount things such as solar panels. We use a lot of the Red Arc 200 watt solar panels that will flush mount between a set of the load bars to keep it low. So that's an option if you have the load bars. Again, those can be added at any time. In addition to the low feet that we have in what you see here, there's also going to be the standard height and a high height. So if you needed to get underneath the load bar to strap things around it, or you needed space to work, that's where in certain applications you would select the standard or the high mounts instead of the low that we have in this application. So one of the accessories you're going to see on that list that works with the load bars is going to be the roof rack tray. And what that is an aluminum based tray that actually is fitted in between two load bars. That roof rack tray is going to give you basically just a flat mounting surface with a little bit of a lip on it to where you can attach or strap things down. Working our way down the list, we're now to the GP Factor section on the order form. So GP Factor is a company that makes a ton of accessories for the Alu-Cab ecosystem. They're available to order directly through your Alu-Cab dealer should you want to get any of those parts. The ones that are going to be listed on this sheet that we'll go over are going to start with this rear door full width molly panel, and this is as you can see is a single panel. If this was a canopy camper, it's actually two separate panels that bolt into place. You can choose one side or the other. Underneath it is going to be the next option that you see on that list, and this is going to be the GP Factor rear folding table. So this is a really neat kind of contraption. It gives you a nice stainless steel work surface for cooking, for prep, just having a table that folds down. In conjunction with that, we also have our bamboo cutting board that slides out and gives us extended surface there, easy to clean, put away. And this is all mounted and secured to the door, so it's very sturdy. It's going to hold up to a lot of weight. And then the next thing you're going to see listed is going to be a rear panel or fit kit for a Dickinson heater, okay? And you've probably seen that on some of the other Alu-Cab builds for a long time, and still that's one of the few options that really was made as far as a fit kit goes, to have a propane type heater that mounted into your canopy camper or Alu-Cabin. So if you chose the Dickinson, you would have a rear molly panel that would replace or be different than the one that comes with the Alu-Cab set. And it's going to allow the chimney for the Dickinson to come up and have access there. There's a lot of fit kit time that's involved as far as installing that. The unit is on the inside. We'll talk about a couple of other heater options here in a little bit further along in the video that we really have been installing and like a lot. Gives you a couple of options that we can tuck away into the builds. And so while Dickinson is available and there's a fit kit from GP Factor, just be aware there's some other things on the market too that are really nice. You're gonna have the option for a couple of basic electronic boards from GP Factor. So in most of our installations, we'll actually do red arc systems or something that involves a backup battery and needs to have a different placement. But if you wanted just a standard electrical panel, you're going to see that listed here, and that's a board that actually mounts on the inside rear driver side. There's also an option to have a full makeup with the Red Vision and Manager 30, all those systems mounted to a panel that would also mount in this back corner. Again, that's an option from a location standpoint. There's a few other ways that we typically install them, with our builds. We have an option for a GP Factor side window small, to where you can actually cut in a small window, a plexiglass window that can be opened or taken out. It's a marine type window. They offer a larger one for the canopy camper since you have that one door on the side that opens up. So if you did want to put in a tinted or dark window that gave you some visibility outside the unit, that's an option that can be added to the small windows on the Alu-Cabin. You're going to see a GP pressure vent listed as an option as well. And that's going to be a little two-way pressure valve that is actually installed on the roof top back corner of the canopy, and that enables you to have decrease in possible condensation inside of the tent. Also may help you close it a little bit easier if everything was closed up, but that's an accessory that can be added as well, and we've got one installed there on this Alu-Cabin. There is a solar wiring organization kit that's going to have some brackets, some little mounting brackets that you can zip tie your solar panel wiring to, and it mounts on the track on the top of the canopy camper or the Alu-Cabin, and that's an option from GP Factor. And then you're going to have an exterior folding step, and that's one that we get some questions about. So GP Factor makes this really cool little aluminum anodized folding step, but it's for mounting on the outside of the Alu-Cabin or canopy camper. So that little step, it doesn't have a big profile and it folds out. And so what you would do is you would just remove this weather stripping, slide the mounts inside this track here. If you need to get to the top of the canopy to get anything off the roof, off the load bars, that gives you a way to step up here, put your foot up and get extra leverage to get up and access the top there. So the last thing on the GP Factor portion of the order form is going to be the Red Arc Solar kit that's available. And what that entails is it includes a 200 watt rigid panel from Red Arc. It also has the mounting brackets to attach it to the set of load bars, as well as a organization bracket kit that helps with being able to take those wires from the solar panels and zip tie them and keep them kind of nice and neat. Now, that's of course an option. There's another kit that we put together ourselves in-house using the Red Arc 200 watt panel that comes in and saves you a little bit less, or it's a little bit less expensive, saves you a little bit of money there. All right, moving to the 813 portion of the order form, you're going to see three accessories listed. The first one being a door strap kit, and that's actually one that's used almost exclusively with the canopy campers. On the Alu-Cabin, you have this locking hinge mechanism that's included. That's not present on the canopy campers, and so Jeremy at 813 does a really nice little kit that reinforces the factory strap on the canopy campers. Not a concern with the Alu-Cabin because of the hinge mechanism, so that's something that we don't do on the Alu-Cabins. Under that is going to be a deadbolt system, and let's talk a little bit about getting in and out of the door and securing this rear door, because that's a question that comes up a lot. If we were going to lock this up and leave it for any period of time and nobody was inside of the Alu-Cabin, we would close it like normal. We would push our hinges in, push it into place, and then put that in, and then you can padlock this right here. If you're going in for the night and you don't want somebody to be able to walk up and of course just latch that and make it to where you can't get out, or you have to climb through a window or something, it's very simple. So you would just, before closing this door, we're going to pull these forward, we're going to put our latch in place, and then we're going to push our door in just like we would normally. It's going to go into place. We would lock it from the inside, and then this is functionless, right? The Alu-Cabin and the canopy camper, when it comes from Alu-Cab, is going to have two interior locks or latches. Okay, there's this one up top, and then there would be a second one located right here. It's been removed because of the addition of this rear folding table. So we have one factory latch or lock that's left, and this is something that's used to where if you're inside of the Alu-Cab and you want to deploy those, it's going to keep people from being able to open it from the outside. Again, 813 has come up with this really neat mechanism that gives you a box here that has a manually actuated deadbolt to where it shoots in and out of the door, is reinforced in the center of the door frame and gives you a little more security there. But in addition to being a manual actuated, we can actually hook it up to your vehicle's unlock and lock function, so that anytime you lock and unlock the vehicle, it automates the deadbolt there, which is really nice as far as a piece of security when you're leaving the vehicle. So the last accessory under the 813 section of the order form is going to be a water tank MOLLE panel. And so what I've got here installed in Rob's Alu-Cabin is we've got a single MOLLE panel from 813. These are sold as singles on the order form, so that price you see is going to be for one panel. You can fit up to 3 on the water tank, which is what we have here. Now, the MOLLE panel is listed on the Alu-Cab order form. 813 also offers the pack-out option panel. So it's the same dimensions as the MOLLE, it just gives you the ability to attach the Milwaukee pack-out system. And those we can order directly from 813 and use in a lot of our builds. And so what we have here is, of course, 2 of the pack-outs, and then the MOLLE on the end, which comes with the proper spacing to attach the Julka hot tap. All right, after 813 on that order form, you're going to see a section from Expedition Essentials, and they offer a quick propane mount that is accessory that mounts to the exterior MOLLE panel. So you can use, again, the ones from Alu-Cab, or you can use the ones from 813 Fabrication. But that Expedition Essentials propane mount is going to mount right to the rear here. It is a locking mount. It will accommodate a 10, 11 pound bottle, and then they offer an option or an accessory that will allow you to fit a 5 pound if you want a smaller bottle in there. After the propane mount from Expedition Essentials, you're going to see some options from Sunflare, which is a solar company, and they offer a bunch of flexible solar panels. So really the two schools of thought on solar on the top of these Alu-Cabins and canopy campers is either going to be a traditional rigid panel like we mentioned before from Red Arc or somebody that would mount to the load bars and give you the space towards the rear, or the option would be to do flexible panels in different sizes and different wattages. Now, Sunflare makes a lot of different great options there, different sizes. There's a few that are going to fit specific space. So one thing to keep in mind with solar is if you're going to try to use the top of your Alu-Cabin to store something like kayaks or skis or fishing rods, keep in mind what may get covered with that and where your solar can actually be placed. And that's where something like the flexible panels from Sunflare, or in this case, we've got two 100-watt panels from Dakota Lithium come into play. They allow us to utilize some space that otherwise, again, would just kind of be wasted. Last but not least on the order form is going to be a couple of options from a company called Hest, okay? And Hest has got some phenomenal mattresses. I've got one of their camp pillows that I was sold on after I got to try one out at Expo East last year. It's a great company, very, very comfortable stuff. And you know, when talking about rooftop tents or anything that has a mattress in it, there's a lot of really bad rooftop mattresses out there. Let's face it, that's just the truth. Now, Rob has spoken very highly of the mattress that's included with the Alu-Cabin. And that's got to say something because Rob slept in a lot of rooftop tents. So we're going to take his word for it. But if you find that you need something other than the mattress that comes with the Alu-Cab and you don't want one of the self-inflating options, which there's some great ones out there as well, then Hest makes the dually long, which fits right about perfect with the size that you have sleeping area in the Alu-Cabin, and it provides you a non-inflating mattress that has very high comfort level, but also allows you to still close the canopy and keep bedding and things in there. Now, it doesn't include both pieces. If you get into an Alu-Cabin or a canopy camper, you're going to notice that you have the main mattress area, and then you have a smaller front portion that folds up, and it has a small mattress part. The Hest is just going to take care of that main sleeping area, which you don't really need that front part anyway, but just keep that in mind. And then the other option on that order form is going to be the camp pillow, which packs away nice and compact and still gives you a very comfortable pillow to travel with. So after reviewing the build or order sheet from Alu-Cab, you know, all that is available directly from the manufacturer or some of the different vendors that they work with. But you don't have to stick with just those options. There's a lot available out there for the Alu-Cab space. I think that's one of the strengths on getting an Alu-Cabin or a canopy camper is that there's so much available, you know, to kind of make it your own, make it work for you. That's a big strength for them. So when we're doing our builds, whether it's something that is more basic or something that's completely built out, there's a lot of options that we offer in-house. There's a few things that just we offer. And so kind of want to go over a couple of those with you. From an electrical standpoint, and I mentioned it earlier, Red Arc is one of our favorites to work with. You know, when you have a canopy like this that you spend a lot of time with, power management is crucial. We're also going to offer more onboard things such as you know, onboard water. You mentioned we had the water tank earlier that we talked about from Alu-Cab. There's some other water tank options that can be mounted in different places, but one thing that we use a lot of is the Julka hot tap, and this is an on-demand hot water heater. It's propane fueled and has a little built-in battery that works for the igniter and does a great job of giving you a hot shower anywhere that you want, as long as you've got access to some water and propane. Another thing that comes up quite a bit is the ability to heat or cool ourselves while we're in the Alu-Cabins or the canopy campers. And what I have here in front of me is a couple of options. First, we have the Truma Vario Heat. This is propane fueled. On the low setting from a 10-pound tank, this is going to give you around 40 hours of heating, and that's at the low setting. On the highest setting from a 10-pound tank, it's going to give you around 20 hours. So the Vario Heat does offer a thermostat like you would find in your house. So if you want to set this to 68 degrees, it's going to cycle the fan speed and the heating up and down to accommodate that temperature. And that remote temperature sensor that's included with this unit, you can actually place anywhere in the canopy. A lot of folks will put it near where they sleep so that it rates the temperature while they're asleep there and keeps it comfortable. This is the Airtronic is the model from this company. And this is gasoline fired. They also make the same unit in diesel. This unit is going to use a heat exchanger, just like the Truma, and it'll basically pull air across that hot plate. And as the air moves across it, it's going to warm that air and then push it out of the unit into the cabin. It's very similar to the way that a radiator would work to pull heat out of your car and move it out. Units at home will work very similar to this, so it's a very efficient unit, and it also doesn't put all the combustible flame and everything inside. It's using just the heat and that closed system on the heat exchanger to operate. This unit, being gasoline powered, is going to give you 12 hours of runtime on a gallon of gas on the highest setting, and on the lowest setting will give you around 24 hours of runtime on a gallon of gas, which is very efficient. And for a space this tiny, very rarely do you find the need to run them on high for an extended period of time. One advantage to this Airtronic unit, being gasoline powered, is that we can actually tap it into the vehicle's fuel tank, as long as the vehicle's gasoline powered, and run it off the fuel tank without having to have an exterior fuel supply somewhere on the canopy. So the last accessories inside of this Alu-Cabin that I'm going to touch on today are going to be these prototype cabinets from SHW Off-Road. We work really closely with those guys, another Kentucky-based company, and they have developed, this is again the prototype, but this is the first iteration of a modular cabinet system that's going to be coming to market for the Alu-Cabin, and I believe it's going to be offered for the canopy campers as well, again in a smaller size. But these cabinets here, again, you'll have the choice of doing 2 base cabinets on each side of the Alu-Cabin. So you can do the rear, you can do the front, and then there will be upper cabinet options coming as well, that as long as you have the base cabinets, you'll be able to build on if you want to have more storage and more functionality. On this side, we have a storage cabinet. You'll see that we have the pull-out drawers here. There's also some options here to hide your electrical wiring, components, things like that beneath it, so that you can still access and get to things like circuit breakers or fuses, but it keeps all that wiring hidden and kind of out of the way, which is a nice little option there. And then this cabinet on this side is being set up to where we can actually install one of the heaters like I just showed you inside of the unit. So you have ducting on the front of it that allows for your intake and your hot air coming in, and then your intake air, return air, both being accessed there. If you're interested in having something like this in your build, reach out to us at Commonwealth 4x4, because right now we're one of the few, if not only, installer that has this set up to get this accomplished for you. All right, so I appreciate you spending time with us, watching this video to understand the process on ordering an Alu-Cabin, all the accessories that are available for this type of setup. If we can answer any additional questions, if there's things that we forgot to mention in this video or we didn't go over in detail as much as you'd like to see, reach out to us. Send us an email, put a message down below, pick up the phone and call us. We'd love to spend a few minutes talking with you about how we do things here at Commonwealth 4x4 and why we think our Alu-Cab installations are a little bit different than maybe what you're used to. As always, we appreciate you if you subscribe to this channel. We're going to try to do more of these build walkarounds, and it's a great way to stay up to date on things going on here at the shop. You can reach us again through our website at cw4x4.com. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook at cw4x4 as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.